Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
As I suspected, my WS has contacted her AP. She will now face the consequences. To recap, the timeline is not exact, but the story is that we have been together for over 30 years. We started dating at high school. 2 years ago, my wife and I were going through a rough patch and she had an affair. D-Day was 12 months ago at the start of lockdown. Unbeknown to my wife, I read some of their messages. It appeared as though the physical affair was over, but they were still in contact. I later discovered that he had finished the physical affair 7 months prior to D-Day, probably because my WS had fallen in love with him and he was never going to leave his wife. She was upset and hurt that he had dumped her, especially as he had told my wife that he loved her. They remained friends and continued to message each other. My wife told him that she could not get him out of her head. This time last year, I had never heard of Reddit. I did not know who to ask for help or advice. I know my methods are a bit mess up, but my cunning plan was to try and get the whole truth about the affair and determine if our marriage could be saved. Not an easy thing to do when you cannot believe a word a cheater says. My wife could not see the AP, so I assumed she would contact him using her phone to tell him that I knew about their affair for the next 6 months, whilst we were supposedly trying to fix things. I could, without my wife's knowledge, see their messages. Some brief highlights are as follows: they both lied to each other, and they both blamed each other for the affair. He said their friendship crossed the line and he regretted what they did. My wife never said she regretted the affair. He cherished their moments together, but also wanted to try and forget it ever happened. An oxymoron. My wife told him that she hated him and that he had used her. He denied this, but other times she said that she missed him. Also contradictory, she said that she was broken and she could not live with the hurt she had caused me. So at times she did display some signs of remorse. On a number of occasions, she said that she would not be able to see him again and she was not going to contact him ever again. A few days later, she would message him: during these 6 months, I got myself into great physical shape. I had Ike. There was hysterical bonding. My wife told me that she had made a huge mistake. She wanted a future with me. I meant the world to her. She had fallen back in love with me. I asked her if she could go back in time and change things. What would she do differently? Her reply was to not let a good friendship turn into an affair and fix things between us before the affair started. She told me that she would accept any consequences, but begged me not to tell our children what she had done. Our children do not deserve to be hurt the truth, where she did not want them to hate her. On the plus side, my WS did not say anything derogatory about me to the AP, at least not from the messages I have read. But she must have said stuff about our marriage to him previously. He said things like, "I hope you can correct the things that were wrong between you. I hope you can move forward," etc. On the negative side, my WS told him that I loved her and she was going to be okay, presumably because she thought I was not going to leave her, but she never said to the AP that she loved me. At one point, she got angry with the AP and said, "All I need is my children." She never said that she needed me or loved me. 6 months ago, I thought reconciliation was going to be impossible. I rang a lawyer to discuss my options. My wife eavesdropped on some of the conversation. I don't know how much she heard, but this was the wake-up call she obviously needed. At this point, her attitude changed, and she finally broke off contact with the AP. That I set some boundaries and consequences. The main one being no contact under any circumstances, otherwise I will divorce her. She agreed to all my conditions. Given all the messages I had read between them, I was doubtful that she would not contact him again, but for 5 months she maintained NC and things seemed to be going in the right direction between us. A few weeks ago, my wife discovered from a mutual friend of theirs that the AP has an incurable disease. I thought she would contact him, and sure enough, she has done. She has betrayed my trust yet again. The messages were innocent enough to begin with. She sent him positive thoughts. She hoped the treatment would be a success, but then she said, "Get better soon and look forward to seeing you soon." In the final dagger into my broken heart: WS. One last thing. Do you regret meeting me at Nows? Good, me neither. That's all, folks. I am done with her. There is nothing left worth fighting for. No divorce is going to cause me and our children hurt and financial hardship. I know she has mental issues, but she is not willing to get help, and I cannot force her. I know there is no point wasting any additional time trying to understand her actions, but I still wonder how she could do this to me and our children. I'm going to speak to a lawyer again, this time without her knowing, and get her served. I hope to get joint custody of our children. The starting point for the split of our financial assets will be 50/50, but I want to try and get more than this by hook or by crook. I will be receiving some inheritance once the house of my deceased relative is sold. I also have Bitcoin that I purchased a few years ago, and the value of this has increased to a nice amount of money. I also have a large pension pot. Is it possible to prevent my SDBXW getting her hands on the proceeds of it? Thanks everyone for your replies. Some really helpful info. I am in the UK. I will try and answer as many questions as I can. Story 2. Trial separation. Good or bad idea? Today, my adulterous wife offered to stay at her parents' house for a short while to help me to heal and decide what I want to do. This suits me as I need a break from her. I can plan my exit strategy better and sample what life on my own and with our teenage children would be like. Our children are unaware of their mother's adultery, so she or us are going to have to tell them soon or come up with an amazing excuse as to why their mother has temporarily moved out. Telling the truth to our children is obviously the best strategy. Something my wife has been desperately trying to avoid, so I am waiting for her to have a change of heart on the trial separation. Assuming the trial separation goes ahead, I expect it won't be long before she will be pleading to come back home and make a fresh start. What sort of conditions should I set for the trial separation? Things like she still must stay away from her AP. And last thing, a little anecdote from today. I was triggered this weekend when I ended up cycling through a park that I knew my wife and her AP met for one of their trysts. I knew from GPS that they had spent about 90 minutes stationary in one particular secluded wooded area of the park. She does not know what I know, but I have never asked for details of their sexploits. I know they were not having a picnic, and I did not expect the truth, but out of curiosity, I asked my wife what kind of sex did she and her AP have in the park and how long were they there. Her reply, wait for it to unsure how long we were there as we did go for a run. It wasn't what you would probably describe as full-blown sex. I asked, how would you describe it? Her reply, fumbling, I suppose, a few more questions for myself as this was a bit bizarre, and then I asked, did you give him oral sex? She proceeded to start waffling on about her counselor telling her that it's not a good idea to talk about the sexual side of things. I replied, so the answer is yes then. Where did he come? Her reply, he didn't, and apparently neither did she. Did not give her cunnilingus either. In conclusion, that is a lot of time spent fumbling with no end result. Edit, a quick update on the fumbling episode. I decided to question her further due to her version being a bit strange. I said all I want is the truth, and how am I supposed to believe anything she says when she continues to lie to me? She has told me they did not have oral. They tried to have full intercourse, but on this occasion he had trouble getting an erection. I do actually believe her now, but why would she not say this? Could she have been saving his embarrassment? I still think she would have tried some oral sex to get him hard. So the story has changed to over an hour of trying to get him hard and not achieving much. She admitted that he didn't have any ED at the other parks, so maybe this park was not to his liking.